It's time for the Fantasy Football Guys. With fantasy football knowledge so fat, it makes your mama look skinny. Here they are, Lyle and Kevin Moore, the Fantasy Football Guys.
You bet your ass it is, the Fantasy Football Guys, Kevin.
Lyle.
And we are netcasting live on our YouTube channel. That would, of course, be youtube.com/the Fantasy Football Guys. You can find us there. Other places you can find this here podcast would be, of course, the iTunes podcast app, Stitcher, and other various and sundry spots, SoundCloud, etc. I don't know, Podcast Alley, and that sort of thing.
We used to be on it. I haven't checked it in a
I haven't
long
either,
time.
but
Yeah.
it's, lots of places. Make sure you check out the Fantasy Baseball Guys. They're still rolling through their season. Fantasy Hockey Guys gearing up to start Season 2 for those guys. Tour Bus Confidential is out there with Kyle Conkiel doing, conversations with musicians and such.
Yep.
And, of course, the random show that Lyle and I did in the off-season to talk about various and sundry things that interest us.
We should do another one of those.
We should. Yeah, but, we have 4 shows a week going on this
We
thing.
could throw one together.
Nah, I don't know, probably.
Do it long distance.
Also, make sure you check out Buzz's Barbecue. If you're looking through the camera, you can see his spicy Buggalo sauce right here.
So I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I'm gonna say it.
All right.
Sorry, Buzz. He hit me up with an email today, or no, it was yesterday, asking me if if I wanted to try his latest creation. So we got requests from friends and families. So it's apple cinnamon, blended chunks of real apple, nice cinnamon overtones with a little more brown sugar to kick it up a notch. I was like, yes, I do.
Do you want to try this awesome concoction of sauces?
That might be coming soon too. Sorry, Buzz. Spoiler alert. I said it late.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's real.
Yeah, he's asking if Lyle's interested.
I am, and if it ever becomes real, I'm sure you will be too.
Absolutely. Coming up in just a little while, we're going to have Liz Loza from Yahoo Fantasy Sports here to give us her sleeper pick. She was on fire last year.
Yes, she was.
So if you're looking for somebody to grab off the wire just to plug in because it's their week, Liz will tell you about that.
Yeah, ignore us, listen to Liz.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way it goes. Also, we're going to be running through each game and talking to you about who to play, who to sit, that sort of thing. But quickly, we can get through some news. Apparently, for Ezekiel Elliott, it's good news that he's not going to face any legal action over the domestic violence accusation. That's pretty much gone. But now he's got some text messages out there that could open him up to some, perhaps, drug investigations. It's not really an investigation, but it may put some scrutiny on him that will cause him to be tested a little more often. So the best thing to do if you're an athlete is just not tweet.
I mean, you just got to stop doing all the stupid stuff, right? I mean, he can't get in trouble for texting or tweeting, really, unless he does something really bad. But,
right.
But if he tests positive, this might give them a reason to test him
more.
Right. There's where it becomes an issue.
Drew Brees and the Saints have agreed on a 1-year contract extension. Drew says, I'll be here for as long as they'll have me. Basically, you keep throwing for $5,000.
Yeah.
They're gonna hang on to you.
Well,
Justin Forsett says he's still the Ravens starting quarterback after a, quote, trial separation, and he is on top of the depth chart.
He is listed as number 1 still, so.
Yeah, which is weird.
It's funny. They released him. They picked him out. It's so they don't have to guarantee his contract, right?
Yeah,
how it works?
That's kind of. Plus, there was also a couple of guys that they needed to put on IR, but they wanted to be able to bring one of them back, and that person has to be on the opening day roster.
I see.
Before they can go on IR, but I think there's better guys to float out there than Justin Forsett.
Probably.
Yeah. So anyway, basically the Ravens' backfield remains a mess. We'll talk about that. I don't know if I have a whole lot of faith in the guy, but obviously his Browns teammates do. RG3's been named a team captain.
You kind of have to do that for the quarterback, don't you?
You kind of have
to
to
show faith in him.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the guys know that. Carlos Hyde is cleared for activity after his concussion in the preseason, so that's good news for 49ers fans and Carlos Hyde owners. Jimmy Garoppolo says smoother operation without Tom Brady at practice.
What a deke!
Yeah,
I didn't even bother putting him on the on our sheet. I was like,
Now you may have to pick him up or play him next week. If he may play well.
Maybe, but I didn't even put him on our sheet.
Well, here's the thing. If you have quarterback A and Garoppolo's out there on the wire and quarterback A gets injured.
Yeah, maybe you play, but you got him for what, 3 games?
Yeah.
It's a short-term solution, but.
Didn't tell the wife we were doing the show early today. She's giving me a jingle from Boston. I'm not going to answer it.
She'll probably just keep calling.
She'll just keep calling. Yeah. That's right. So as we get to more news, let's see, I think it's pretty much it. We've hit the high notes.
I mean, we got a lot to get to.
Terry Bradshaw says he'd take Big Ben over Tom Brady or any other quarterback.
Yeah, it makes him insane.
Well, he's a Pittsburgh guy, so.
Yeah, that just makes him insane. Listen, love Big Ben. Think he's a Hall of Famer. One of the best quarterbacks of the last, 10 years or so. But he's not the same category as Tom Brady is.
He's not. So for me, for the last 5 years even, it's Brady.
Yep.
It's Breeze.
Manning.
And Manning, and then Big Ben.
Probably Big Ben's probably next, yeah.
He's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he's been pretty good.
Football season is finally here. It's time to stop fooling around and put your fantasy knowledge to the test to win your share of $100,000 in DraftKings free Week 1 contest.
That's right. DraftKings is hosting a free contest this weekend with $100,000 in total prizes up for grabs.
DraftKings.com is the destination for 1 week fantasy football.
1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments.
Play whenever you want with the players that you
Just
want.
Pick your contest, draft those players, and follow your team live.
That's right. Playing leagues with friends or coworkers and prove that you're the superior GM.
Or try the 50-50 contest where the top half of all entries win cash.
DraftKings even has contests exclusively for beginners like
Something
Lyle.
for everyone at DraftKings.
That's
Not a
right.
beginner.
I know. Hurry to DraftKings.com now.
Use promo code GUYS, GUYS, when you sign up and play for free in this weekend's $100,000 fantasy contest.
This contest is 100% free, so there's no reason not to play.
Again, that's promo code GUYS, GUYS, when you sign up and play for free for your share of $100,000 this weekend.
Only at DraftKings.com.
That's DraftKings.com.
Eligibility requirements and restrictions apply. See website for details.
Nice.
Thanks. All right, so let's get to the games. We want to make sure we get through all of them because we have the full slate of 16 today.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think they're going to be pretty easy to go through, Kevin, because it's kind of start your studs, right? This is start your studs week. Everybody, stop. Just don't get.
We also call it don't get cute week.
I know Dak Prescott had 5 touchdowns in the preseason, but you're not going to start him unless you absolutely have to.
And you don't, because you know what? Jay Cutler's out there.
Right, I don't care what your other quarterback is. There's no reason to start a rookie quarterback in his first start. It's a real bad idea.
I really look forward to seeing Carson Wentz.
Me too.
I wouldn't play him on a bet.
I didn't even pick him up.
There you go. So the first game of the week, of course, is the Thursday night tilt. Carolina, the Broncos, a rematch of the Super Bowl. 2 different teams going to show up, but the Broncos defense is still going to be there. Cam Newton had all kinds of trouble in the Super Bowl. I'm guessing he's going to have similar trouble this week.
Number 1 against quarterbacks, man.
That being said, he was drafted as your number 1.
I think you start him.
You got to play him.
I think you start him. Yeah.
Jonathan Stewart is probable. He has an ankle. Is that accurate?
It's what the injury report was pulled from.
Okay.
It might not be, and I don't know. Don't pay attention to it. I put the list together, or our sheet together, like in haste, like a few hours before the show. So yeah, I probably didn't run the injury stuff. So, but doesn't he always have an ankle? So that's probably
it's not inaccurate,
right?
Anyway.
Ignore the injury stuff.
So I've never really been high on John Stewart, but he was one of those guys you probably drafted in the top 5, and if you did, play him. This is like we said before. It's not time to get cute and go, well, I can start the only rookie you should be starting this week is Zeke Elliott.
I don't know.
As a running back,
I might start Derrick Henry in a flex if I was in a deeper league, like our dynasty league.
I would really,
where I kind of have to.
Yeah, you have to. Well, have to is different than
Yeah.
I really kind of see. I want to see what the split is. I want to see what if he's getting 5 carries a game. That's not enough for me.
Right.
If he's getting 12. Okay, well then maybe that's enough if he does see what he does with it. So
just saying.
Anyway,
I might have to start him. So
well, like I said, have to is different because your team sucks.
Yeah, but I had a good draft though.
Kelvin Benjamin coming back from injury. You know what? In this offense, the way they're going to have to, if they're going to beat the Broncos, they're going to have to throw the ball. And I think Kelvin Benjamin is going to be a big part of that. I will give him a squinty thumbs up just because he's coming back from missing the entire season, basically. Yeah. But when he was in last, he was a guy you wanted to have on your roster.
They're limiting him to a few snaps, though. Riviera said that he's going to limit him to around 35 snaps in the opener. So that kind of bums me out.
He's certainly at least flex-worthy.
Yeah, probably. But again, this is a defense that was number 1 against wide receivers last year.
Indeed.
So I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you.
That's fine. Devin Funches, Ted Ginn. Again, I really want to wait and see on those guys. Love both of them, and Teddy Ginn especially is a guy who produced for me last year in a couple of leagues.
Yeah, he was pretty good at times.
First week, I'm thinking that I didn't draft him in the top 5, top 6 rounds. I'm not going to play him. Greg Olson, of course, is your tight end of record, so he's one of the best out there. So if you got him, play him. From the Broncos side, I'm kind of nervous about this Trevor Siemian kid.
I'm nervous about the entire team because of that.
Yeah,
Listen,
absolutely.
They had one of the greatest quarterbacks who ever played the game last year, and he struggled. Now, again, he was going downhill, but it's not like Osweiler was much better. Right? So, the young kid's in. Okay, yeah, it should be fun. But fantasy-wise, I think it hurts everyone.
It does. And you're not going to play the kid. You're not going to play Trevor.
No.
Certainly. Now, as far as the running backs go, C.J. Anderson did look good at some point last year. But
towards the end of the year, he played a little bit better.
And in the Super Bowl, he had a decent game.
Yep.
But the thing is, you drafted him. You drafted him in the top 5 rounds, more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't not play him just because he's C.J. Anderson. You got to play C.J. Anderson this week.
You cannot draft him because of that. But
well, I didn't.
Right.
But if you did draft him, you got to play him.
What about the receivers, though? These are 2 killers, man. You can't pine them, can you?
You can't, really. Now, here's the thing. I have Manny Sanders in a league.
Yeah.
But I have 2 guys in front of him.
Right.
Or 3, actually, that I'm going to start in front of
Thomas,
him.
I think you still have to play.
You still have to play Thomas. Now, Sanders, I think, is worth a flex because they're going to throw the ball. Mm-hmm. And these guys are going to catch them. I'm not saying that, they're going to have 200-yard games or whatever, but you certainly have to play them. Virgil Green, on the other hand, I wouldn't go near. Chances are he's, available in your league if you want to get him.
Right.
But you don't really.
Bucks at the Falcons Snooze Fest version 1 of 2016.
Yeah, well, kind of.
Famous Jameis, dude looked really good towards the end of the season last year. It's a tough matchup. I'm assuming he's not your number 1 quarterback. You're not going to play him. Old muscle hamster, though, I think you have to play no matter what.
It's the Dugginator.
Yeah, I don't care. Great matchup for him based on last year's statistics.
What do you mean you don't care about the Dugginator? How dare you?
It's a stupid nickname, and muscle hamster is so much better.
Yeah, I agree.
Clearly. So, Dougie, we're going to play the wide receivers. Totally going to play Mike Evans if he's one of your top 3 guys. Probably should be. Vinny Jackson, amazing that he is available super late because he's a good wide receiver. I'm not saying he's going to blow up the charts, right? But he's a flexible guy. He's a guy you can start, when you need him.
He's available in the teens.
But, honestly, this is a terrible matchup for both of them. I think I would start Evans. He's at least in the flex. The tight ends, I would fade completely as well. Cameron Brate supposedly has the starting job. Sorry, supposedly.
Thank you.
Kevin has the starting job. I think they're going to share time. ASJ had a really good first game last year. We'll see. It's just there's not enough info, and I'm assuming you have a better tight end. From the Falcons side, sort of a similar story, right? We're going to probably fade Matt Ryan. He may have not even gotten drafted in your league, which makes sense. You know what?
A lot of guys have trusted him for years and years and drafted him and saying, well, look at all the weapons he has, and then he stinks.
Well, fantasy-wise, he does. Yeah. Well, maybe he just stinks all the way around. Either way, probably going to fade him. Listen, it's the Devontae Freeman, Julio Jones show. Let's be totally honest. Tevin Coleman, if you're super desperate for a flex, you shouldn't be at this point of the year, except if you're me in our Dynasty League. So I may actually end up playing him. But other than that, yeah, I would fade everybody else on this squad.
Mohamed Sanu may have some value down the road, but game one,
Now
I
we
wouldn't say.
Now we won.
Vikings Titans, Sam Bradford.
He's not going to play.
He's not.
No.
It's going to be Sean Hill.
It's Sean Hill first, but I left Hill out because nobody's going to play him, and it's going to be the Bradford show going forward.
Right. So they're allegedly or supposedly. Lyle, they're splitting first-team reps, but it's a little too early for Sammy, who has learned his 8th offense now in the last 6 years.
There's one startable player on this team.
There is one startable player, and his name rhymes with Smadrian Smeederson.
Right.
That's pretty much it. It's easy to go to the Titans at this point. Marcus Mariota, you probably didn't draft him as your top guy, so we don't really have to talk about him. Really, though, we talk about the running backs here. DeMarco Murray is certainly startable, in all formats at this point. Derrick Henry may be a flex, but I'm thinking you have better options at this point. Going forward, you may, rush to put him in your lineup.
These receivers, though, I'm really excited about. Not week one.
Well, you know what? And I mentioned this on Twitter, but everybody's talking about Tajay Sharp, about his quarterback. Mariota's coming out going from day one. He stepped out here and was on point.
Right.
So starting a rookie wide receiver
Not in
week
his
one,
first game. No.
tough to do. Rashard Matthews, maybe a little bit easier. He's the anointed number one guy.
I guess.
But I also want to see what this offense is going to do, how Mariota runs it. I really want to see the kind of separation these guys get. Chances are, again, you didn't draft these guys to be week one starters, so no reason to rush them out there. Delaney Walker, on the other hand, continues to be a tight end that if I draft, I'll draft him to start week one.
Right. Browns at the Eagles, snooze fest version 2.
No, it's not going to be snooze fest, man. Robert Griffin III back starting. Carson Wentz starting his first game.
Yeah, does anybody care but us?
Probably not.
No,
Browns
RG3
fans.
totally going to fade, right? Even though he's got a sick matchup, by the numbers, totally not going to play him. The running backs, listen, the Eagles didn't show it, but they actually have a pretty good run D. They didn't show it last year, but they actually have a pretty good run D.
Well, they showed it until they were on the field for an extra game during the year.
Not psyched about either of these guys. Duke Johnson's definitely going to get a start in the PPR. He's totally flex-worthy. Crowell probably is too, but not a huge fan. The wide receivers totally going to fade. Really like them. Really can't wait to see what Pryor does and Corey Coleman does. Not going to happen right now.
I really wish Josh Gordon was here.
I know.
You can play him.
Gary Barnidge is a guy that we can roll with. And from the Eagles side, dude, maybe you start Matthews.
You start Matthews. He's at least worth a flex.
All right. Is Jordan Matthews completely clear? I didn't see.
The target was for him to be ready for the first game. Whether he's in playing shape or not, I don't know.
He's practicing. So, All right. So there's that. Maybe you start him if you're super desperate. He had a good close to the end of the season, but again, he's got the dropsies, man. Green Beckham, enticing. Certainly want to do that. Love to see Zach Ertz pick up where he left off last year. Not going to count on it.
So are you going to play any of those guys?
I would play Ertz in a PPR.
I would play Ertz, and that's pretty much it.
Maybe Ryan Matthews.
Maybe Sproles in a PPR. Maybe Sproles as a flex.
I don't know. I don't know, man. This is a rookie quarterback's first game. I don't know. Man, all these games suck. Tell me about your next one, Kevin.
Bengals Jets. Oh, boy. Well, you know what? Andy Dalton is one of the most consistent fantasy quarterbacks of the past 5 years. He's a guy that didn't get a lot of love in the drafts that I was participating in, but he probably should have. If you and this is a great defense he's playing, so you may want to squint when you play him. But if you picked him up as your number one, if you waited to go late on quarterbacks like we recommended all preseason, Dalton is a play you're going to want to be happy to put in. And hopefully he's as consistent this year as he has been in the past. Jeremy Hill and Gio Bernard, you know what? These guys are up and down. They're roller coasters. I can't really recommend either of them based on previous fantasy performance. Look elsewhere, really. If I had to start one of them, it would probably be Hill, but I wouldn't like it. Of course, A.J. Green is a guy you're always going to play. Tyler Boyd as a rookie is compelling for me, but down the road. If you're going to reach and say, start this guy, don't be obvious. Tyler Boyd would probably be a guy I might put in as a flex if I had to put a fourth wide receiver in.
Right.
Tyler Eifert.
Not practicing.
So you have to look elsewhere for your tight end if you got him.
Cankle.
He does. The Beard going up against this staunch Cincinnati D. He has two of the best receivers in one of the best receiving tandems in the game, I should say. So I like him for that in that regard. He's got Matt Forte, who's one of the best receiving tight ends of this generation, and Powell, who's also did I say tight end? I meant running back. And Powell, who's also a good receiving running back. So things are pointing up for the Beard. That being said, he was available in the teens in every draft I was in.
Yep.
So he's probably not your first quarterback. Don't feel compelled to pop him in against this Cincinnati D.
Right.
And that's pretty much, are we going to be able to start any fantasy players this week?
I got the Raiders and the Saints coming up.
Okay, go ahead. You probably have a couple starters.
Not going to play Derek Carr, although sick matchup for him.
I might play Derek Carr. A lot of guys drafted him as their number one.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you did, go ahead and play him. Latavius Murray, we could play him.
Yeah, why not?
It. Maury Cooper, go ahead and play him. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Michael Crabtree. roll him in a flex.
I'd put him in a flex, sure.
Doesn't hurt my feelings at all. So, yeah, let's start some Raiders, man. Been a long time since we could say that.
Watching the NFL Network, a lot of those guys are picking the Raiders to make the playoffs this year.
They might.
They won 7 games last year.
Yeah, I mean, they're improving.
Ball bounces a different way. Maybe they win 9 this year and squeak in.
From the Saints side, it's pretty much the same story it's always been. You're going to start Breeze. You're going to start one of the running backs, which is going to be Ingram. You're going to start one of the wide receivers, which is going to be Cooks now. And you'll probably want to start the tight end, Colby Fleener. Really excited to see what he ends up doing there in New Orleans. Pick up some of that Jimmy Graham slack. But he's not Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy hasn't been there in a couple of years, dude.
Right. Oh, I know, but
it's somebody else
saying.
now.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, maybe he can, do something there, get in that end zone. But that's pretty much it. I mean, the Saints have been really consistent forever. Willie Snead, people have been talking to me about him. Hey, he might blow up. Listen, he's going to do nothing. You're going to drop him, and then he's going to score 3 touchdowns in a game, and everybody's going to scramble for him, and then he's going to do nothing again. This is what Saints wide receivers do. There's a one guy, right? And right now it's Brandon Cooks.
Right.
Might not be next week, but it is right now. That's the guy you start.
Okay, San Diego Chargers, Kansas City Chiefs.
We got some people here we can start.
We do. Phillip Rivers, he's leading an offense that threw the ball more last year than any other team, and I don't really see that changing. So Phillip Rivers has been one of those guys who is always great value. For some reason, no love for Phillip Rivers, except, of course,
I don't get it.
For me.
Right.
I try to get him anytime I can.
I like him, too.
Play him. Melvin Gordon looking better in the preseason, actually, understanding the offense a little bit better, picking up blocks better. And he's not injured this year, so he should be looking pretty good.
We'll see.
I'll give a thumbs up to Melvin Gordon. I have him in a couple leagues. I'm going to play him. Danny Woodhead in a PPR is certainly flex worthy. He was finished as in the top 10 in our money league, which is a half-point PPR. So in a full-point PPR, probably even better. Love Danny Woodhead. Now, as Melvin increases his workload, does Danny's decrease? That's possible, but for week 1, I'm willing to play both of them. Keenan Allen should be a top 10 wide receiver fantasy-wise and real-life-wise.
Awesome last year until he lacerated his kidney.
Yeah, it's amazing a lacerated kidney can do to a fella, But, he's definitely a guy I'm going to start. Travis Benjamin is compelling to me as well because of how much they throw the ball here. Now, yeah, there's a lot of targets. There's both running backs. There's Antonio Gates. Keenan Allen's out there. But I think Travis Benjamin, will be able to almost hide in this defense because there's so many other options. I think he's going to be open a lot, and Phillip often finds the open man.
He sometimes.
So in 7, 4 or 5 wide receiver leagues, Travis Benjamin is a guy I would definitely start there. Antonio Gates, while 60 years old at this point,
he's getting up there.
If you draft him to be your guy, you should only have one tight end on your roster. And if Antonio Gates is that guy, don't go looking to change. Honestly.
Right.
He's certainly a guy you can hang on to. From the Chiefs side, Alex Smith, I see no reason to start that guy this week. I mean, yeah, okay, the San Diego defense ain't great, but really you have to temper your expectations with Smith, and you didn't get him to be your starter. Probably. Now, maybe if you wait until round 14 or something, you got him. And if that's the case, then do what you got to do. But don't go looking for him. Jamal Charles, probably not going to start. Probably not going to play in this game.
Yeah.
Still a little bit slow coming back from that injury from last year, which is really kind of upsetting because I drafted him in the first round a couple weeks, 3 weeks ago. But, hopefully he'll be back soon enough. Spencer Ware steps to the 4 as the guy who's probably going to get the lion's share of the carries, and Shark West may get some as well.
Sharkinator's going to be in there.
He's going to shark some carries. From the receiver side, it's really all about one guy. For week 1, it's Jeremy Maclin, and Travis Kelce is your tight end. So this may all sound obvious to you, and it should be at this point, because week 1 is not the time to take risks.
Yeah, for some reason I got Chris Conley in there twice. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's gonna be start your studs this week. When we have some information next week, then we can start to vary from the plan, right?
Right.
But week 1, don't mess around.
Well, we always say don't get cute, and that's the thing. It's like, start the guys you drafted to start, and they're the guys in your first 6 rounds. So we're going to keep pounding that into your skull over the next, hour.
Yeah, something like that.
Hey, ask anyone. Men look better when wearing a suit.
And a made-to-measure suit fits better and looks better than a generic off-the-rack suit.
Indochino is one of the largest made-to-measure menswear brands on the planet.
And now, Indochino is making it easy for men to get great-fitting, high-quality suits and shirts at incredible prices.
Here's how it works. Visit Indochino.com, pick from hundreds of fabrics and patterns, choose your customizations from lapels to pleats to jacket linings and more.
Submit your body measurements, then kick back, relax, and get ready to step into the best, most stylish suit you've ever worn in just 4 weeks.
To make it even easier, you can drop by one of their 9 North American showrooms.
Right, and this week, TFFG listeners can get any premium Indochino suit for just $389 at Indochino.com when entering promo code GUYS, G-U-I-S, at checkout.
That's 50% off the regular price for a made-to-measure premium suit.
Plus, shipping is free, and your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back.
That's Indochino.com, promo code GUYS, G-U-I-S, for any premium suit for just $389 with free shipping.
You'll never have to worry about badly fitting suits or expensive trips to the tailor ever again.
Get ready to look like $1 million with Indochino.com. It's funny, Lyle and I used to work at a bank, and we had to wear suits.
We did.
And I remember Lyle saying, people treat me so much differently.
They do.
So much differently,
So
when I'm
much
wearing
more
a suit.
different. Yeah.
Get pulled over by the police, and they're, "Sir, may I see your license?"
Yeah.
And they treated you with respect.
They did.
As opposed to, we're wearing your Timbs and your jeans
my
and your
jersey.
hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, "Step out of the car, sir."
Yeah, they're like, "You're clearly smoking marijuana in there, sir." Yeah, I mean, it is really weird. If you're wearing a suit, like a nice suit, people, they treat you differently.
Yeah, so when I started at that job, I went to the store and got the off the rack. But after working there for a while, I started going to a place he had made to measure,
Yeah,
and it was
me
just
too.
so much better.
It is better, yeah.
I took you to that place.
Yeah, well, they also had a tailor there that could, at the place we worked, there was actually a tailor in the building that you could go to and have him make adjustments to your stuff. Pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, where are we?
We're at the Bills. Bills-Ravens.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah, Bills at the Ravens. I'm going to go ahead and give a big, large thumb up to Tyrod Taylor.
I'm going to give 3 thumbs up to Tyrod.
Enthusiastic, will you?
Yeah. Engorged thumbs.
Right. Shady's always a start when healthy, obviously. Gillislee, not so much. Gillis.
Mike.
Whatever. Yeah, that dude. I mean, he's had some good games, but Shady's the back to start.
It's the Shady
there.
show.
Yeah. With Carlos Williams gone, he's the only guy I would want to play. Yeah. By the way, Williams had monster numbers. It's amazing that.
Well, you come back overweight and a little bit dinged up.
Watkins is always a play, obviously, as well, and that's pretty much it from the Bills side for Week 1. We'll probably make some changes. Watkins could have a monster game, as the Ravens were really bad against the pass last year. From the Ravens side, man, it's kind of gross. Yeah, not a huge fan of Flacco's. Forsетт's coming back, and then starting.
He's going to start.
But he's good. West looked real good in the preseason, man.
He did.
So you know what? I'll throw Steve Smith in a flex, man. Why not? He's historically started strong. He's just too old to keep going.
Yeah, you get 6-8 games out of him, and he gets hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Week 1 last year, I don't know, at least early in the season, he was pretty fantastic. So
gotta love Steve Smith.
Yeah, that's pretty much it from them.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, they may show something, but for Week 1, you have other better options, so why not play them? You got the Bears, you got the Texans, Jay Cutler. Another guy who goes undrafted in a lot of leagues, and it's funny because he has talent around him. He should be getting better, but previous fantasy suckage just kind of tells you not to play him.
Right.
So if you didn't draft him to start, let him sit. Jeremy Langford spent the entire preseason as the guy, getting all the first-team reps, etc., blah, blah, blah. So I think that's going to at least carry over into the first game.
Should.
Yeah. You got the rookie Howard. You got other guys, but I think it's going to be Langford until the games prove otherwise. Alshon Jeffrey is an automatic start, of course. Even though his quarterback is questionable, he continues to post good numbers. Kevin White, Should have been, well, he was a rookie last year, missed the entire season. All indications are he's a guy who can actually be better than the guy across the field from him. Week 1, as a flex, I may put him in a big wide receiver league, like if you have 3 and then a flex, I may find room for him there, because you generally had to draft him pretty high to get him. So I would feel comfortable at least giving him a flex spot. And that's really it from Chicago's side. From the Texans side, there's a lot of new guys here. You got Brock Osweiler, who came over from Denver, where he looked serviceable. A serviceable quarterback in a Texans uniform actually looks really good.
They have historically.
Yeah.
With DeAndre Hopkins there. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you look at what Hopkins did last year with, the train of quarterbacks who are coming in and trying to play. So I think if Brock Osweiler can stay healthy, it'll be good for everybody, including Brock Osweiler owners. I'm not going to suggest starting him this week, but I do like Lamar Miller this week. He was a first-round, second-round player, so he's definitely going to get the thumbs up from me. DeAndre Hopkins is an automatic play as well. Who's this other player, the nameless player?
I don't know. I messed up the. Hold on.
I can't wait till next week so we can get the full roster.
Hold on. Well, I mean, next week we'll have stats too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
If you get, it's Jalen Strong. That's who it is.
Yeah. So DeAndre Hopkins is really your play there.
Yeah, my bad, dude.
That's right.
I mean, I literally built this. I finished 10 minutes.
Well, the funny thing is, I was sitting there yesterday, and we had a draft yesterday, our Dynasty League draft.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, you know what? We had a short week this week. Tomorrow's Wednesday. What are we going to do for show prep? And this is what we did last year. We had this document.
So I wrote it today.
And I was like, we're going to do that doc? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, the thing we did for the show. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, yeah.
Yeah, so here
24 hours ago, this didn't exist.
Yeah, and here's the thing that you have to realize: I had to modify the teams for all 32 NFL teams. So I had to go in and manually move players from one team. We have a list of. Wow, that was horrible and really loud.
It was bad.
Wasn't even close. We have a list of team templates, and I had to move players and add new players, and I had to make sure they could connect to the API. It's a nightmare, guys.
But anyway. We do this. Well, he does this for you,
right? Yeah, Kevin didn't do anything.
Well,
he complained about going to the bank.
I didn't complain. I was just telling you that's what I did.
All right. Packers Jaguars. This is going to be really simple, right? From the Packers side, you start Aaron Rodgers. You start Eddie Lacy.
Absolutely.
This is why you drafted him. You start Nelson, assuming he's 100%, and you start Randall Cobb.
You flex Cobb at least,
right? He's good. Everybody else is subject to fading.
Right. Chances are Richard Rodgers isn't your guy, but Jared Cook could be.
Right.
I'm starting him in a league.
Yeah. Now, Nelson might be on a snap count this week, but I still think you have to play him. He's just that good, and you drafted him that high. Week 1, you roll with him. It's not like...
if he's playing, he's on my roster.
Right. And the Jaguars don't have a stellar pass D. The Jaguars is a little bit more confusing. I think you start Bortles. Despite, a historically bad matchup based on last year's numbers. The running backs, though, Yeldon and Ivory, I don't know, man. I guess you start Ivory, but is Yeldon flex worthy?
Well, these guys are supposedly splitting carries 50-50. You know what? I would look for a better option on my roster.
I probably would, too. If I had to pick one, it'd be Ivory at this moment. They're both probably flex worthy. You start both wide receivers, Robinson and Hearns.
You do.
Yeah, Hearns just is a touchdown machine, so he's definitely flex-worthy. And I would start Julius Thomas, too. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people this year. He was absolutely stellar in Denver. Battled injuries all year last year. But, dude, he's on a passing offense, right, with a pretty good quarterback, and he's a damn good tight end.
If there's any issues there's only so many balls to go around.
That's a good problem. There was a lot of balls to go around in Denver, too.
Yeah, there were.
But he ended up being pretty damn good, pal.
Seahawks hosts and the Dolphins, Ryan Tannehill, looked a lot more comfortable in the Adam Gase offense than he did in Philbin's offense the year before, last year. So hopefully he can increase his fantasy numbers. I'm not going to roll those dice on week 1. I'm one of those guys that wants to see it. I will start Arian Foster as my running back, though. He's probably not going to be an RB1, but he's going to be a solid RB2.
Right.
and you didn't draft him in the first or probably second round, if you probably got him in the third or fourth, maybe even later if you're lucky, he's probably going to get hurt and be out for the year. So play him while he's healthy.
That's horrible.
Jarvis Landry is a PPR monster,
Yep.
and at this point, I would play him even in standard leagues. Just basically because he's one of the best receivers literally in the league. Now, he's been hiding in Miami, but, they're a little more high profile.
I'll go that far.
What, one of the best in the
receivers
league?
in the league? PPR, he's a monster, but, that's not.
I'd throw him in the top 20.
Maybe.
Maybe even top 15.
I don't know. There's a lot of names on that list, pal.
There are, and he's among them.
He's pretty good.
Kenny Stills is a guy who's caught a lot of attention in the preseason about, he stepped forward and took charge of the wide receiver 2 game.
He's got one issue, though.
He's Kenny Stills.
He's still Kenny Stills.
He is still Kenny Stills, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Somebody to look forward to. I may be talking about him on the Waiver Wire show on Tuesday morning. Devontae Parker may also be in that conversation on Tuesday morning, but not today.
Right.
Jordan Cameron should be a good tight end. He wasn't last year, so he's probably out there on the waiver wire just waiting for you to not pick him up because he's probably not going to have a great game. From Seattle's side, Russell Wilson, obvious start. The Thomas Rawls, Christian Michael question. From what I understand, Rawls is going to be on a snap count if he plays at all, and Christian Michael is going to be the guy who starts and gets the lion's share of the carries, if you will. So, if you can believe Pete Carroll, that's what's going to happen.
I mean,
I'm not sure that I do.
They're both capable of doing. Rawls was a monster last year.
He was, and you know what? I don't trust Michael to say the least because he's one of those guys that just kicks ass in the preseason, but then when it comes time to,
it's been a good 4 years now. We've been talking about him.
Yeah, it's like this is his year, and we're hearing the same conversations. Like he's looked great. And, the regular season starting, though, so we'll see what happens. I have recommended him to be a flex starter. Right. If Rawls is out, and if he's going to be the guy who starts, and you obviously have to pay attention to what's going to happen in the news, etc. But if Rawls starts, I'll play Rawls. If Michael starts, I'll play Michael. This is a running team, and they do it well. Doug Baldwin,
they throw the ball pretty well too.
You know what? They started to when they had to. Yeah. They did. Last year when Beast Mode went out, and they were trying to figure out what they're going to do with their running game. Baldwin had a season, a top, his career year.
He did.
Now they call career years for a reason, and he may back off a little bit, but he's still a guy worthy of a start. As is Tyler Lockett, especially if you're in a league that gives return yards and touchdowns to individuals. Tyler Lockett is your huckleberry. I would play him all the time.
Right.
Jimmy Graham. Dude, I don't even know if he's going to play. He's still dealing with a patellar tendon issue.
Yeah.
So, just cross your fingers on that guy if you drafted him at all.
Man, they wasted trading for him.
I know. It was crazy.
It's just a nightmare. Giants, Cowboys, NFC East tilt. Exciting. Eli Manning. Nah.
You're not going to play Eli?
I mean, maybe, but I got to assume he's not
against
your number.
Against this defense? I'm playing him.
I guess he's not your number one quarterback,
Well,
though.
if he's not, no. If you draft him to be your top guy, then...
You going to play Rashad Jennings?
Sure.
Maybe. Vereen, probably not yet. PPR, maybe.
PPR, Vereen, yeah. But, Rashad Jennings, again, play him while he's healthy.
I guess, yeah. Going to play Odell Beckham.
You're going to play Orleans Darkwa?
No.
You're going to play Paul Perkins?
No. Sterling Shepard's interesting, though.
I think he's up there with Tyler Boyd and
Tajay Sharp.
He's one of those guys that,
Probably not week one, though, right?
Well, who knows?
Not week one.
That's the thing. If you drafted him in the 6th round and you have 4 wide receivers you're going to play in a PPR.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But if you have to start 4 wide receivers, sure. Okay, why not roll the dice?
We have one of those leagues we're drafting tonight.
Yeah, but you don't have to start 4.
No, you can start 4 running.
I'm going to tell you right now, I would do everything in my power to avoid starting a rookie wide receiver in their start.
Unless you can go back in time and start Anquan Bolden.
Right. Yeah, he had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
From the Cowboys side, man, would love to have the balls to start Dak Prescott here, but
you don't.
Can't. It's a great matchup. Giants were 31st against fantasy quarterbacks last season. Right? Dude, he's going to go off.
So you don't have the balls to play Dak Prescott?
It's a big mistake.
Like what my son Robbie would say, baby carrot, no grapes.
Right. That's fine. Running backs, we're certainly starting Zeke. I don't care if he's a rookie or not. Starting him. He's getting the nod. Des Bryant's also getting a nod. Probably not going to start anybody else on this team.
Oh, let's back up a little bit. I saw that Darren McFadden may be out for the year, dude.
Yeah, I saw that too.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, he's been beat up. I have him in one
so,
league. So
Alf Morris, kind of steps up to the number 2 role there.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't start him.
No, not this week.
Yeah. I saw that too because I actually drafted him in almost the last round in our main money league just as a, see what happens. But he's been listed as out. He's actually on the IR in that league. I dropped him to IR and picked somebody else up.
Yeah, you may want to find somebody else on IR.
Another guy who find somebody else on IR.
Get somebody else to put on IR, who may be coming back.
We'll see. Yeah. But Bryant's a go. Witten's probably still a go. At some point, he's going to completely stop producing. He's got a rookie quarterback throwing to him. It's a real bad situation. I hope you have a better tight end. He's a great blocker, which is terrible for his fantasy value because he's got a rookie wide receiver. A rookie quarterback throwing to him. Right? So they're going to run some protective packages, and he's going to be in blocking. I mean, dude, he's a brick wall.
He is. He's probably a 3rd or 4th year Hall of Famer.
He's getting there.
He could retire now and be in the conversation.
Yeah, probably. Amongst tight ends, probably, yeah.
Well, you're not going to compare him against kickers. He's a tight end.
Yeah. Just saying. I don't think his career has been
he's
amazing.
He's not in the Antonio Gates, school, but he's in there. I mean, he's up there.
He's no Gonzo.
Well, who is, except for
Gonzo.
Lions, Colts. A lot of people love Matt Stafford this year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he's a gunslinger. I think he's of the Brett Favre, Tony Romo mold. Loads of talent. You know what? And I actually brought this up in the preseason, and you were like, and you know what? You may be right, but I may be right as well. The same thing happened when Favre lost Sharp. When he went without with injury and had to end his career. So basically, Favre had to look at the whole field, not just look for one guy.
Okay.
Right.
One major problem here.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford's not Brett Favre.
I understand that. Okay. I understand that.
He's not even close.
But the thing is, when you have that security blanket gone, you're going to have to look at the whole field now. So it's going to be better for Marvin Jones and Golden Tate and everybody else. So maybe Stafford grows as a quarterback to not have that one guy he knows he can just chuck it up to. Sure. He actually has to do stuff.
Sure.
That all being said, no way I start Matt Stafford this week. Right?
Yeah.
You know what? And if you're in a PPR, maybe Theo Riddick, but that would be a desperation play for me at this point. At the end of the season, Theo Riddick's the guy you're going to play because you gotta. You probably don't have to today. Amir Abdullah, everybody says this is his year. I kind of want to see it first, so I'm not going to start him either. Golden Tate and Marvin Jones kind of fall into the, if you have a big number of wide receivers you need, both of these guys are probably going to be okay. It would be Tate in front of Jones for me, but I would probably play them both. I just wouldn't be really, really happy that, first week I have to play a Detroit Lion receiver that's not named Calvin Johnson. Eric Ebron, no. Some point in the future, maybe.
Just fading it all.
Hopefully, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Andrew Luck, he's obviously a start. He's healthy again. And for some reason, the Colts are rejuvenated. When Andrew Luck plays 16 games, the Colts make the playoffs. You remember that, pal.
If any team's star quarterback misses significant time, they're going to say that too. Yeah. I mean, how good are the Patriots without Tom Brady?
I don't know. We'll see this year,
I guess
won't
we'll find out in the first couple games, but still.
Well, the last time he went out for a significant time was when he hurt his knee. They went 11-5 and missed the
playoffs.
On the tiebreaker.
They didn't make the playoffs. They still won 11 games and made Matt Castle a lot of money.
Well, Matt Castle just was like, ka-ching. Frankie Gore, you know what? I don't know. He's a starting running back in the NFL on a good offense, so he probably is at least flex worthy. I would avoid that. I avoided drafting him because he's old, and at this point, running backs start to break down, and I don't want to be the guy who owns him a year too long.
Right.
So week 1 probably okay, but I don't like him for long term. T.Y. Hilton, Dante Moncrief, absolutely. I'm starting both of those guys, and I'm happy about it. I'm grinning like a fool putting them in. Philip Dorsett in the slot should have improved numbers this year. Should. He showed flashes of competence last year. Now, that's not a ringing endorsement, but I kept him in the Dynasty League hoping that he would do something this year. But for week 1, I'm going to wait. Dwayne Allen, certainly a serviceable tight end. He's not going to get, Gronk or Gates numbers, but he'll get you, 50 yards, 3 catches, and maybe 6 touchdowns on the year. If that's what you need in a tight end, he's your fella.
He's your guy. Pat Riat's Cardinals. We're not going to talk about Garoppolo. If Tom Brady was playing, everything that I'm going to say would be totally different.
Sure.
Well, I'm not feeling this, man. It's a really bad matchup for the Patriots. Blunt.
Just because they're playing one of the best defenses in the league?
Maybe you play him in a flex. Dude, love Edelman in a PPR. Love Amendola. Hogan is, talk of the town.
Yeah.
But they have Jimmy Garoppolo throwing to him. So I'm kind of out.
17 years ago, 15 years ago, people were going, you know what, these receivers are pretty good. If only they had, they had Brady throwing to them. If only it was, the other guy.
Right.
Yeah.
You
see, and then look what happened. Brady took him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but
Garoppolo's no Brady.
He's not. So I'm going to go ahead and pretty much fade everybody but Edelman and Gronk. Those would be my starts from that side. From the Cardinal side, it's actually much brighter. Love Carson Palmer. Obviously, we're playing David Johnson. You drafted him in the first round.
Yeah.
Really don't hate any of the receivers in terms of flex worthy. I'm curious to see how long Fitzgerald can keep it up.
But he's a beast last year.
He's a flex, dude. He's a flex until
at least. Yeah.
Otherwise, So, and I would start John Brown in 100% of leagues. I just would. So it's not a bad matchup based on last year's numbers. Patriots gave up 22.8 points per game to fantasy wide receivers. So
did you end up watching All or Nothing?
No, I didn't watch it.
Oh, you got to watch that.
I don't have any time to watch anything. Yeah,
you watch South Park all the time.
I just run it in the background. It's sort of like background noise.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's pretty much it, dude.
All right, Steelers Redskins.
Yeah.
Going to be a few guys to play here. Ben Roethlisberger is a given. If he's playing, you got to play him. Even if he's hurt, he plays well.
I want to hear you say it.
D'Angelo Williams, best running back in the NFL.
There he is.
Gets another start because our boy Le'Veon Bell out for 3 games.
Do you want to bet me money right now that he's top 5 this week?
No.
All right.
No, he definitely is.
Top 3.
Well,
$5 American.
You give me odds?
No.
2 to 1?
No.
All right, you don't believe in it.
3 spots? You want me to give you odds?
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to ask for odds.
All right. Fine. Give me odds on him being number 1 this week.
I'll give you 2 to 1 on 5.
Not 2 to 1 for number 1. No. That's 5 to 1.
5 to 1?
Absolutely. For number 1? Yeah. For the top spot, I'll bet you $5 American, 5 to 1. D'Angelo Williams is the number 1 running back this week.
In the NFL?
Yes.
Fantasy or just yards? Number 1 fantasy running back this week in our main money league.
Let's go fantasy in our main money league.
Okay. All right. That's
5 to 1.
I just made $5.
Maybe. Or I just made 25.
I'm
Dude, if that happens, see, if I lose, everybody's like, yeah. But if I win,
yeah,
I'm going to roll in this bitch like it's Mardi Gras.
I know you're not going to pay me either way. So.
I'm going to roll in here like it's New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, party. Yeah, it's a lose-lose for you. If you win, you get $5, and yeah, of course you won. But if I win,
yeah,
it's amazing.
I'll take my chances.
All right.
Wide receivers, you got a couple guys here you might want to play. Antonio Brown,
maybe
being one of them. You want to play him. Marcus Wheaton, looking to. What's the other guy's name? Eli Rogers.
Yeah.
Is a guy who's getting some conversation.
Mm-hmm. But week 1 though.
Not week 1. Certainly it's Antonio Brown. Marcus Wheaton certainly in a flex.
In a deeper league flex, sure.
Yeah.
PPR.
Rogers, I'm not sure about yet. I'm not sure where they're going to position themselves, who's flag or who's in the slot, etc. So we'll see. Jesse James is a tight end whose name has been bantied about a lot. Haven't seen much from him. So, better options to be sure. Kirk Cousins, you like that? I don't necessarily like it for week one. He's got some weapons around him, but I didn't draft him. Didn't see anybody draft him to be their top guy. So obviously, if you didn't, then you're not gonna. Matt Jones is probable. Chris Thompson's out there. Maybe he's a little dinged up too. So they're gonna cobble together a running game. I'm not going to recommend anybody be a part of it at this point. Pierre Garçon, Deshaun Jackson, both of those guys I'd give a thumbs up to. I might even put Josh Doxson into that group of
it's a good matchup.
Yeah, into that group of rookies who you put into a flex in a 4 wide receiver possibility.
Maybe not week one though.
Maybe not. We'll see. Wherever you drafted him.
Again, let's temper. They got Kirk Cousins throwing to him, so.
Yeah, but dude,
he's okay, but he's not great.
He's Kirk Cousins, man.
Not a powerful offense.
You like that. Jordan Reed is a given.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because that's what he said. And they have T-shirts made up of it.
Don't like
It's on towels that people are waving.
But I don't like that.
I don't care.
Oh.
Kirk does.
All right. Jordan Reed, you can play him.
Yeah, I did say that. He's an obvious player.
In traditional fashion, Monday Night Football
is going to suck.
Their second game of the opening week, the final game of the opening week, they have a real tilt for you. It's the newly minted L.A. Rams, Kevin.
That's why they're doing it.
And the San Francisco 49ers.
See, the Rams are now in L.A. Yeah. The Rams that were on Hard Knocks. You got the 49ers, okay, with the Kaepernick thing, and Chip Kelly's in town.
They didn't know all that when they were setting the schedule.
Just an added bonus, dude. Plus, Chip Kelly's in town.
So I think St. Louis's quarterback is Case Keenum. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's number one.
He is.
Yeah, I don't care.
No.
Gonna play Gurley here.
Todd Gurley? Yeah, I heard he's pretty good.
And that's it.
No Tavon Austin?
No.
In a flex? I might put Tavon in a flex.
Well, I don't trust it, buddy.
Well, I don't trust it either, but, I think he's certainly flexible.
From the 49er side, Kaepernick's going to continue to sit on that old bench because he's terrible.
He's going to kneel, then he's going to sit.
Right. Mm-hmm. Gabbert, I would fade. Carlos Hyde had a concussion, so
but he's back. He's cleared.
He's probably flex worthy.
I would say so. I mean, in a Chip Kelly offense, that running back is key.
Do you start any of the wide receivers? Is Torrey Smith a guy that you can play week one in the Chip Kelly system? This offense might be amazing.
I would be shocked if it was amazing.
But Chip Kelly, remember, 2 of the 3 years he coached, he had a stellar offense. They got beat up last year. It wasn't good. Maybe people have figured it out, but also maybe they haven't.
I think Torrey Smith is worth a flex.
Personally, I hope they crash and burn. Sorry, 49ers fans. I just hate Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
He ruined my favorite team. But maybe Torrey Smith is flex worthy. Everybody else I'm fading. Hyde and Torrey Smith. And that is it. Those.
Well, before you go.
Beat in game, bitches. I'm not going anywhere.
I'm
going to stay right here. I'm not leaving.
I'm going to say that I anticipate Vance McDonald being a guy who's going to be playing weekly by mid-season in fantasy. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm just not.
Well, in week one, I'm not going to go there.
Week one, certainly not.
But, I see him possibly, getting something
I guess
done.
anything is possible. But, I don't think I could recommend him to anyone.
Not anybody living, anyway.
Like ever.
I understand.
All right.
Well, football season is finally here, Lyle. It's time to stop fooling around and put your fantasy knowledge to the test to win your share of $100,000 in DraftKings' free Week 1 contest.
That's right. DraftKings is hosting a free contest this weekend with $100,000 in total prizes up for grabs.
DraftKings.com is the destination for 1 week fantasy football.
1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments.
Play whenever you want with the players you want.
Just pick your contest, draft those players, and follow your team live.
Play in leagues with friends or co-workers, prove that you're the superior general manager.
Or drop into a 50-50 contest where top half of all the entries win cash.
DraftKings even has contests exclusively for beginners.
There's something for everyone at DraftKings.
Hurry to DraftKings.com now.
Use promo code GUYS, GUYS, when you sign up and play free in this weekend's $100,000 fantasy contest.
This contest is 100% free, so there's no reason not to play.
Again, that's promo code GUYS, GUYS, when you sign up to play free for your share of $100,000 this weekend.
Only at DraftKings.com.
That's DraftKings.com.
Eligibility restrictions may apply. See website for details.
That's amazing. You got a phone call during our ad
No, that
read.
was my alarm to call Liz.
Oh,
to
that's
text
even
Liz.
worse that you did that to yourself.
Yeah, I trolled myself.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what happens? What are you going to do, right?
I don't know.
So until Liz calls, let's roll some questions here.
do it.
First of all, LeBeau says, first week of the season, I find myself contemplating my lineup while lounging in the pool, looking for advice on which one to start. 10-team, 1-point PPR. Your advice last year got me a solid 8th place. That's what we do, dude. We strive for mediocrity.
Right
He's
smack
got
dab in the middle.
Blake Bortles versus Green Bay or Kirk Cousins versus Pittsburgh. I'm a Blake guy, though.
I would roll Bortles, yeah.
And which receiver, Doug Baldwin against Miami or Deshaun Jackson versus Pittsburgh?
I'm sorry. I think you have to start Doug Baldwin. He was on fire last year, dude.
He was. And you know what? Especially
D-Jax is good, man.
in a PPR, D-Jax catches 3 passes and he may get a long touchdown. Baldwin's going to be targeted all freaking day.
Yeah.
So the rest of my team is in my signature block. Got you there. He said, I've attached my current favorite, number 1, Iskra Lawrence. I hear she's a Chelsea supporter.
Well, first of all, that makes her amazing.
Yeah.
All sorts of backyard there, Kevin.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
As per usual, I'm not sure where to start with these damn emails.
Yeah.
Give me a date, and I'll start with that.
Well, what day was Saturday? See,
I don't know.
Let's see. That was
Today's the 7th.
carry the 1. And,
that would have been the 3rd or 4th? 3rd, right?
yeah, I think so.
We don't know. I can't do dates, dude.
Let's see.
They count backwards and.
How about Corey on September 1st?
Wow, that going back that far?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, hang on. Mike, August 31st.
What?
Hold on.
No, I
Ian.
can't. Yeah, see, you're just backing me up. Let's start with the 4th.
Ambrose on August 30th.
September 4th. Anybody who sent us a question before September 4th, I'm sorry.
There you go.
All right. John says, I listened to about 5 different fantasy podcasts, and yours is one of my favorites.
1 of 5. Okay, cool.
But none of you even mentioned Superflex leagues. My league is a Superflex 3 wide receiver, 2 running back PPR, where all TDs are worth 6 points. 1 to 10 in points last year were QBs. I don't understand why more
we
people
talk
don't
about
play this
Superflexes
format.
all the time.
Yeah, we do. Ooh, and there's Liz.
Huh.
Did you log into Skype?
I did.
Please tell me you didn't.
I did.
Well, it's my Skype, remember?
It's not coming through. I'll answer. See what happens. Liz?
Kevin.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm glad it rang on yours. Liz, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. I'm actually, are we recording right now?
We are.
Oh, okay.
We're live on the internet.
Fantastic. I just ran my son. We have a nanny situation, and I just took my. I'm without one, and so I'm just sneaking out of my son's swim class right now to
Nice.
talk deep sleepers, baby, some extras.
Let's do it.
Nice.
See, that's dedication,
It is.
ladies and gentlemen.
And
Well,
we appreciate you
Somebody
taking...
else's problem for 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. That's cool. Appreciate that. Before we get to your sleepers there, Liz, how was your off season? Well, we had an off season. You didn't really, did you?
I did not have much of an off season, and then I went and got knocked up again. So it's not, been particularly calm.
That damn sex will get you in trouble every time, Liz.
Yeah, it's the worst STD you can contract.
Oh, the big guy shot it straight. What can I say?
A human being.
He shot it straight. Yeah.
All right. So awkward as usual. Beautiful to have you back, Liz.
I love being.
Yeah, you all right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm great. So what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about sleepers for week 1? You want to talk about under the radar draft guys? If anyone's drafting, what's on the agenda?
Yes.
Let's talk about some week 1 guys, because everybody's, kind of antsy about what they're going to do for the first week.
All right. Well, I like nobody's business.
Wow.
No, thank you. 0 touchdowns in the preseason, plus I believe 3 turnovers. Seems to be picking up where he left off in the postseason. 36 years old, John Brown with headache, concussion issues. David Johnson's still a stud, but New England's defense better than advertised, I think. So, me, Carson Palmer is like outside of the top 12 signal callers in week 1. Instead, I am loving Matt Stafford.
Really?
Who, yes, I love his matchup against the Colts. Come on. Avonte Davis-Bliss Colts, which was already a shallow defense, and he had lost a step due to injury last season regardless. I think this could be a total shootout. Everyone's focused on the fact that Megatron's not there, but Marvin Jones was, according to beat writers, and I'm quoting, catching everything in sight during camp. Yeah, I know pads matter a ton, and their offensive line is bad, but Jim Bob Cooter does things for Matt Stafford, and they're going to push the pace this season. So I think Matt Stafford, he's like $33 in the Yahoo DFS game, which I encourage everyone to play. And so I think I'm starting him, and he's an awesome daily play. So I like him a lot as an unexpected start in week 1. And I actually think I like him a little more than Andrew Luck. But I don't think my rankings reflect that. But I think that's just kind of what my gut says.
Yeah.
And so another, like a PPR play that I'm digging, Eli Rogers in Pittsburgh. He earned the wide receiver 3 spot, beat out Sammy Coates for the assumed job. He's going to be handling the slot. There's no Le'Veon Bell this week, obviously the next 3 weeks. So I think I think Ben Roethlisberger's going to look to him a lot. Maybe he doesn't see the end zone, but I think he, like I said, is going to be a big PPR play. On that same team, Jesse James replacing Ladarius Green, who either has a brain injury or an ankle issue. Who knows? There's plenty of rumors swirling. Regardless, he's out. Jesse James did splash in the preseason. Nice red zone target. We know how much Ben Roethlisberger appreciates his man in the middle, if you will. So I think that, in PPR, I like Rodgers, and for just like a streaming tight end or a DFS play, I think Jesse James has a good chance to score. And one more PPR play, Darren Sproles, to me, is very interesting. I thought he was a great value in draft, available, I believe, according to FS Calculator's ADP in the 11th round. Here's a guy who, he's got Carson Wentz. I'm going to end with a homer pick for you guys.
Cool.
Carson Wentz under center, nice rookie quarterback. And I think that's going to help Zach Ertz. But I also think a lot of dink and dunks to Darren Sproles makes a lot of sense. Ryan Matthews, not the most durable running back, obviously. And Frank Reich, who was the OC in San Diego last year, where Danny Woodhead caught 80 balls, the most of any running back in the league, is now holding the clipboard in Philly, as you well know. I read a report that said at every coaches meeting a couple of weeks ago, he would open by saying, how do we get Darren Sproles the ball? So we know that he can elevate the play of a passing down back, and we know what Sproles was in New Orleans. I'm not worried about the fact that he's 33, especially not worried about it in week 1. And I think a lot of short passes to Sproles from Carson Wentz makes a lot of sense this week. So those are 3-4 picks for me.
I love it. I said Darren Sproles in a flex, and Lyle was like, nah.
I just don't trust an Eagle, man. I mean,
that's because we're biased against trusting Eagles.
Yeah, I just, I love Darren Sproles as a human being and as a football player. It's a damn team he's on that bothers me.
Yeah, you just don't want to trust it. I understand.
Yeah, rookie quarterbacks make me nervous, and the Eagles make me especially nervous, and yeah. But I've been wrong before like a million times, so.
Yeah, a lot.
Nice. Very well done, Liz.
Yeah, Liz, it's funny because, we mentioned everybody you were talking about. I was not really high on Stafford, but you kind of convinced me that he's worth a look at least. And also I mentioned Eli Rogers, but I wasn't really sold on him for a first-week player. But in a PPR with Bell out, then
or daily.
Yeah, or daily.
Daily works.
That definitely works.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it depends on the scoring system of the DFS team that you're playing. I think Yahoo is a half-point PPR, so keep that in mind. But there's a lot of good PPR. Also, why is James White a thing? Are we really? Well, I can't believe that people are projecting James White to put up RB2 numbers, even in standard scoring leagues. This is bananas. Now we're going to start. Dion Lewis was a stud.
He was.
And if James White were a stud, Dion Lewis wouldn't have had the opportunity to become one. He's out, and now we believe that like Bill Belichick, we're going to trust in this backfield. We're going to be like, oh, sure, James White.
Well, I certainly
Such
don't.
Plug and play fantasy analysis to me.
Yeah,
no, thank you.
Lyle faded both of those New England running backs this week.
Yeah, week one.
For
I
sure.
don't like the situation, man. Plus, I don't trust the Belichick backfield at all. It's like the Saints wide receivers, right? You never know which one's going to blow up. Obviously, Brandon Cooks is a great play, and Marcus Colston was for years and years. But other than that, you really can't trust anybody else. It's the same situation there in New England.
I agree, and you have to look at the matchups too. I mean, Arizona's defense.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of question marks because Patrick Peterson's coming off of an ankle injury. Honey Badger's coming off just 9 months, less than 9 months removed from his second ACL. But Honey Badger's projected to be on Julian Edelman. Patrick Peterson, who knows if he'll be swapping out, shadowing Gronk at times. They're going to have to take like 3 people, move some of their linebackers, right, to like restore Gronk. Danny Amendola is back. So with Danny Amendola back, that's another short yardage weapon, which is what James White is. So the James White hype to me is completely bananas.
I don't disagree with you, Liz.
Yeah, we're on board.
Yeah. That is great stuff.
Well,
Man, great to
I
have you
like
back,
you.
man. Great to have you back, Liz.
Yeah, I've been talking to Lyle all off season.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
glad
awful.
to have you on board here.
Awful looking at him and just talking to him all the time.
Well, you guys dug in on a lot of steak and broccoli. I listened to a couple of those podcasts, the food podcast,
Ah,
technology one.
yeah. Yeah, we were doing...
Lyle's very into ghee, apparently.
I
yeah,
am. I'm huge into ghee, man. Love ghee.
Clarified butter is the ticket.
Oh, man, it's delicious, man.
Yeah, man.
That and Kerrygold. So that's what I rock.
It's in my fridge right now.
Yeah, man.
We're coconut oil family.
Oh, I love coconut oil, too.
I have
use
that
it a
in my
lot.
cupboard, absolutely.
Yeah, I use that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Avocado oil I've been really getting into lately.
Really?
Yeah, oh, man, it's so good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You
Yeah.
just so like to lather it on your now self-frame.
Actually, what I like to do is I have a vegetable spiraler, so I will spiral up some sweet potatoes and cook them in the avocado oil, like little sweet potato French fries. Man,
Yeah.
on point, dude. On point. Then
Wow,
I make some sriracha mayo,
Nice.
right, with just the egg and olive oil. Right, that's how I make my mayo with some sriracha in it.
It's more of an aioli, but olive oil.
Whatever.
Vegetable oil would be the mayonnaise.
It looks like mayonnaise.
Right,
Whatever.
it's
It's
aioli.
it's a white, dressing.
It's going to go ahead and be aioli.
Fine, and it's delicious, dude.
It is.
Yeah, dip my
Wow.
avocado, sweet potato fries in there. On point, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, I like to cook.
So you
Man.
just like saute them in the pan?
Yeah, with the avocado. It works really great with coconut oil too. Yeah, you just heat it up enough you don't want to hit the smoke point, so you just heat it up enough to get it, warm and
You
crispy.
put a little butter in there to raise the smoke point.
Yeah, I'd rather not though.
Yeah, I know.
I like the flavor of the. Anyway, we're way off topic.
Wow.
I never thought I'd hear Lyle like endorsing zoodles, basically.
Dude, I'm huge.
Which is vegetables.
Yeah, no, I'm big into stuff, man. I like doing weird things.
And then food, too.
And food too, yeah. No, yeah, I geek out on the science behind it,
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, as evidenced by your off-season podcast,
Yeah.
I did listen to quite a few. I listened to them while I was getting my either while I was working out or while I was getting a mani-pedi.
Wow.
Sweet.
We actually discussed Manny Petties on one, I think. Or was that this show?
That was this show,
I
yeah,
can't
because
remember.
while I was on vacation, I got a petty, so.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Kevin, and he got his toenail painted.
I had my 2 big toe. It was July 4th day. It was actually July 4th, and I got little American flags on my big toes.
Yeah, but that's a canvas, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, your big toe is like that's a canvas, man.
Yeah, it's
That dude had room to work, man.
actually it was a she, but okay.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, dude in a non-gender specific
I
fashion.
understand.
Yeah.
So yeah, I rocked him for probably a good week before I got him off of there.
Nice.
Yeah, I got some looks. Wearing sandals, wearing flip flops with the painted toes.
Eh.
But it's all good.
But it's American, so you can get away with it.
It is, and it was, and I did. Liz, it's always a pleasure. You are you going to be rolling over to us? Like the Rams are on the road this week, aren't they?
They are. We are season ticket holders now. The big guy secured
Nice.
too, so that he could take our little man. I'm at the office all day Sundays, I'll be honest. Leave the house at 6 a.m. I don't come home until like 6 or 7 p.m.
Yeah.
But I wanted, now that LA has a team, for my son to have a team and this not be such a Washington-Chicago division in the family. And so the big guy and the little guy are going to go to the games when they're home, which I think is super cute.
Yeah, that is awesome.
It is awesome. There's nothing better, man.
Yeah. And my husband's like now happy that he can watch football again, at least in some way instead. Because everyone thinks that like, oh, you're so lucky, your wife works in football. And he's like, yeah, except all day Sunday I'm wrangling our toddler. And she's
Right.
at the office.
Right.
So it's fantastic.
Which is great for you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best for me. I love working on Sunday. That's one less day.
Football Sunday, that's not work.
It's like a break.
You know what's funny is we probably do the same exact stuff. You know what I mean? Like we're not writing articles, but I'm certainly writing stuff down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're paying attention. Yeah. Yeah, Sunday's not an off day anymore.
And then,
not until the end of the season.
No.
And then Sunday night at midnight, DirecTV starts running the shortcut. So, watch every game in shortcut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my busiest days of the week are Thursday for sure, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday are like the crazy busy days of my week, and then Wednesday is kind of a break day, and Friday is kind of a break day.
Well, once the kids get older and you start taking them to games and practice and, like swimming right now. So you're kind of getting the taste of it.
She's doing it. And it's got another one coming, too.
Yep.
And another one
But
coming.
it's a little girl this time, and then we're done.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I love how
Another little.
I love the graphic you sent out that said we found some cap room. That was kind of cool.
Oh, thank you.
Great.
Yeah, we're excited. And so you guys should know, and your listeners should know, that if I am still on the call come week 16, I'm going to be miserable because she's due towards the middle to end of December. She's due, week 15 basically. So if I'm with you for the fantasy Super Bowl, I'll be pretty pissed.
Well, we'd love to have you anyway, Liz.
Right. Even if you're miserable, we'd love having you on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
All right,
Liz.
guys, I'm going to go out and see how my little Pike is doing. And good luck this week. Happy week 1. Football is back. Check out those sleepers, and I'll have more on the Roto Arcade at Yahoo Sports. My Beach Sleepers in full article post on Friday morning.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Great. Thanks, Liz.
Okay.
As always, thanks for classing up the joint. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, bye-bye, guys. Thank you.
All right, see ya.
That
Liz
is
Loza. She
Good God.
comes up with them, man.
Yeah.
She does.
She's
and,
deep.
and she's on point.
She's hating on Carson Palmer.
Yeah, that's. I was a little surprised at that, but I get it. I understand.
I get it too. Logic is sound. I'm just not sold that I could sit him. Anyway, I was in the middle of the question.
You were
And we got to
from
wrap.
John.
We got to wrap this up pretty quickly because I got stuff I got to do again. Sorry. He was like, "Yeah, I listened to like 5 podcasts." He was like, "Super flex leagues, blah blah blah."
Right.
Yeah. So he was like, "Why don't we talk about super flexes more?" He says, "It's more realistic. The more important position in football isn't relevant in most leagues, and to me, that's ridiculous." Anyways, my question is, with my first 5 rounds, specifically the second round, I have DeAndre Hopkins as my 3rd round keeper and Derek Carr as my 5th. Last year, we didn't have any starting quarterbacks left after round 8. I have the 8th pick in the first round and the 3rd pick in the second. First round, I'm thinking 2 of these will be there: Elliott, Miller, or Breeze. Zeke Elliott's not going to be there in the 8th pick.
Probably not. Well, you know what? In super flex league, quarterbacks are going to go off
I
quickly
know.
too. So
Lamar Miller might be. Zeke's not going to be there.
probably not.
No. Especially if it's a keeper league. There's no way Zeke's going to be there.
Yeah.
Miller and Breeze might be there. I've ranked them in that order. My bigger question is, I really want Keenan Allen. Would you take him round 2 since I don't have a 3rd round pick, or do you think he will fall to me in the 4th in this format? I don't think there's a chance in hell. He doesn't fall to you in the 4th in any format. It's a keeper league and a super flex.
He hasn't made it out of the 2nd round in any draft I've been in. That includes mobs.
I don't think he has either. So I would take Breeze or Miller. Either one of those is fine in a super flex. And Keenan Allen, I would definitely take him in round 2. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Big Balls from the forum says standard 12-man start, 1 running back in Bell's absence, and 1 flex. So you got Derrick Henry, you got Woodcock, and you got Jordan Howard. for running backs. And for wide receivers, you have Corey Coleman, Steve Smith, and Laquan Treadwell. So you need a running back to be sure, and then a flex out of the remaining running backs and the receivers. So for me, since it's a standard, Woodcock's value really drops there.
Yeah, it's gone.
Not sure what Henry's going to do, though. But we also don't know what Howard's going to do.
Woodcock's probably the safest play. I would probably start Derrick Henry.
I probably would too. I mean, it's a dice roll, but all these guys are a dice roll.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the flex, I would probably go.
Say it. Say his name.
Steve Smith.
Say his name.
Stevie Smith.
Week one? Sure. Listen, I would venture a guess that both Coleman and Treadmill would become starters over Steve Smith at some point this season due to injury or just old age.
Possibly week 2.
Might be. But week one, I'd stick with the guy who has been a massive producer in the NFL for a decade. So that's what I would do.
He's stretching for that big number,
Right. Carson says, hey, guys, just listened to your podcast for the first time, and I figured I'd try to get an email through to you.
Hey, there you go. You got it.
I got by the auto draft too, but only for one pick, and man, that pick is messing with me. Happened in my free league the other night too. Pick one. Screwed the dude over, yeah.
Nice.
I forget who it was, but it wasn't a first-round pick. It was it was like Stephen Diggs or something.
Defenser, yeah.
Anyway, 10-man standard. David Johnson, LaShawn McCoy, Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey, and a flex. For brevity's sake, I won't list the rest of my team that doesn't apply to the question.
Good call.
So, he was auto-drafted Eric Decker from one of my picks. That's not horrible. Yeah. First, I was completely fine with this as he helped me win a championship belt last year while being a top 10 wide receiver. Then I realized that I had Brandon Marshall sitting in my wide receiver 1 spot, also a top 10 wide receiver. With my flex position vacant, my bench is as follows. He lists them. As of now, I've got Gordon slotted for week 1, Melvin. I'm mostly just wondering if it's ever okay to start Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker on the same week.
Absolutely.
100%, dude. You just mentioned they were both top 10 wide receivers.
Yeah, and they both play on the same offense. So if you've got 2 top 10 wide receivers, it doesn't matter what team they play for.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
Good. I mean, it's not even a question.
So
it doesn't matter at all.
So if you're watching the Jets game and the beard drops back to pass, chances are real good you're about to get a point.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I think it's a standard, isn't it?
Oh, well, either way, if it's a 10-yard pass, you get a point.
Yeah, right. So
you're going to get points.
So he says, some online advice says to look at each player separately, but my gut tells me that I want to diversify in order to keep one of my team's flop from being my team's flop. From one team's flop being my team's flop. Appreciate your time and consideration. So, real quickly, I wrote an article many, many years ago called Minimum Expected Value, right? It was all about getting a guy's consistency and then using that to justify starting him. It was a brilliant article. Everybody was amazed, right? I was a hero.
It came out of Lyle's head.
For like a day.
I'm sure you stole
it. And then people realized, they started doing the numbers, that average was way more important than minimum expected value. So that means that irregardless,
right,
if a player is consistent or not, if he has a higher average than another player, that's the best player to play. So this falls into that category. It doesn't matter. Right? It doesn't matter if you start 5 players from the same team. If they have high averages and they're consistently producing points for you, dude, you should play them. And if you have 2 top 10 wide receivers, I don't care what team they are on. I don't care if they're both on the freaking Browns, and you're like, the Browns suck, though.
Now you're getting crazy.
I know, but I'm just saying,
right,
it doesn't matter. Start those players. I don't hate you starting Melvin Gordon. In a standard league, it makes sense. But I'm going to tell you right now, you should strongly consider Eric Decker.
I concur. Asshat from the forum says, standard scoring non-PPR, which is kind of redundant, pick 3 wide receivers in a flex. So basically sit one of these. Jarvis Landry, Eric Decker, Emmanuel Sanders, Deshaun Jackson, Spencer Ware.
Sit one?
Yeah.
Non-PPR?
It is a non-PPR.
Probably Landry.
You're going to sit Landry? That's ridiculous.
I mean, are you going to sit Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah.
He's the other one I would consider.
Yeah, I would do that.
All right. I'm not going to argue with it.
Yeah, I mean, sitting Jarvis Landry to me is not a good move.
He's playing Seattle, and it's a non-PPR is my justification.
Okay, I get that. And
I think Deshaun Jackson could have a pretty good game. He's healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. The non-PPRness and the fact that they're playing in Seattle hurts Hurts Landry there. Okay, I'll go with you on that. I mean, I hate to sit Jarvis Landry ever.
Agreed.
But in a week 1 situation, okay.
All right.
So there you go. Sit DJ or sit Landry or DJ, depending on your,
Right.
proclivity.
Daniel wants us to rate his draft. He's been listening for 2 years now, and he absolutely loves our mediocre advice. First, I want to say, keep being you because it's great. Second, I want you guys to give me your draft grade and week 1 lineup advice. I don't listen to Yahoo grades. You should listen to Liz.
Yeah.
But they gave me the worst in my league. Don't pay attention to any of that stuff.
Yeah, I got a D in my. The whole thing is they rank players, and if you don't take the player that they rank first available at the point, they're going to give you a bad grade.
It's a half PPR. He was 10 out of 10. He got Le'Veon Bell, Allen Robinson, Jordy. He's a Pack fan. That doesn't matter. You should not have picked with your heart. But in round 3, Brody Nelson's totally fine. Tavis Murray, Macklin, Jonathan Stewart, Melvin Gordon, Manny Sanders, Blake. Jesus Christ, Duke Johnson, Martellus Bennett. Hogan, Coleman, Tajay Sharp, and then defensive kid. That's ridiculous. That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, Stewart, okay, but, he's
don't like him so much, yeah.
But in a 6, that's fine.
I have a quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, a wide receiver, running back, tight end flex, and a wide receiver, running back flex. That means they're both wide receiver, running back flexes. Let me know what to do until Bell comes back. Thanks again, guys. Keep being mediocrely awesome?
Mediocrely. Awesome.
Also, have you ever heard of Funky Buddha? It's a Florida beer.
I have heard of Funky Buddha.
I have not heard of it.
Well, there's a bar here called Two Stone Pub, which we frequent. And they have Buddha in there, and some sayings by Buddha, etc. So I've heard people in there talking about Funky Buddha beer.
Right.
Go figure.
So Bortles is your quarterback, obviously. Your 2 wide receivers are going to be Allen Robinson and Jordy Nelson, assuming he's healthy. He's practicing, from what I've read.
Right.
If it's not Jordy, then it's Manny Sanders. Right?
Or Jeremy Macklin. I'm playing him.
I missed him. Yeah, okay. Then it's Macklin over Manny Sanders. Yes. Okay, so then your 2 running backs are going to be
Murray.
Latavius Murray, and I probably would start Melvin Gordon over Jonathan Stewart at this point, right?
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Especially this week.
Is it a PPR? It's a half PPR. So Duke Johnson's going to one of those flexes. And, I'll take Manny Sanders in the other. Sure. Done. All right, buddy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Glad we could be of service here.
That's how we roll.
Pal. All right, back to the forum real quick. EJ Clayson says, hey, non-PPR, pick 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, and a flex. He's got Julian Alderman, which is pretty funny. He's obviously Edelman. Larry Fitzgerald, David Funches, LaShawn McCoy, Tommy Rawls, Jeremy Langford, Rashad Jennings.
Non-PPR pick, 1 wide receiver, a running back, and a flex. Wide receiver's got to be Edelman, although I don't like it. You drafted him early. Play him. Right? The running back is
LaShawn
McCoy. And the flex is Langford?
Go ahead, say it.
Langford, maybe?
It's a non-PPR. See, I would play Langford there.
I also like Rashad Jennings, too. Don't hate Rawls either.
Well, Rawls, his playing, whether he's going to play or not,
it's probably Langford. So
it's probably Langford. He was amazing last year. Rashad Jennings hasn't been amazing for several years.
Yeah, it's Edelman, McCoy, and Langford. IMO.
Yes, and oddly, I agree.
Chris has a auction league he wants to take us to take a look at. Just to rate his draft kind of thing. You got Winston, David Johnson, Zeke Elliott, AJ Green, Eric Decker, Barnage, Jarvis Landry, kicker and defensive carriers. You got Woodhead, Snead, Travis Benjamin, Tajay Sharp, Kamara Aiken, James White, and Kenny Stills as well. It's a PPR, so
I like Kamara Aiken. I think it was a damn good. Probably paid $1.
Yeah. Kind of love it in a PPR. If Zeke pops off, you're going to have David Johnson and Zeke. I know people are going to be worried about your quarterback, but I actually think Jameis Winston is going to be very good this season. I drafted him in our main money league.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. And the fact that you have 2 of the top 5 running backs, and you have AJ Green, and then Decker, and then Landry. I think you're good. And
you got Danny Woodhead down there too. Caught 80 balls in a PPR last year.
Right. So there's the whole James White thing, but Kenny Stills is still Kenny Stills, but we'll see what happens with him. Travis Benjamin I like. Tajay Sharp has upside. Kamara Aiken has upside. Willie Snead has upside. So, yeah, it looks pretty good, man.
Don't hate it.
Going to give you a thumbs up, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay. Elliot says, hey, good evening, gentlemen. So after missing the first 3 rounds of one of my drafts due to a female, quote, it was worth it. Nothing like walking into a draft, zipping up your zipper, right? He says, anyway, I was left scrambling for running backs after the auto draft. Decided to go wide receiver heavy from the start. Could have been worse. Could have been tight end heavy like mine was.
Right.
Anyway, need to start 3 from the following pile of RBs. DeMarco Murray at Minnie. Matt Forte at Cincinnati. Duke Johnson at Philly. Chris Ivory at Green Bay. And Forsett at Buffalo. Got to start 3 of them.
Ugh. Okay.
He put them in the right order for me.
Yeah, Murray, Forte, and Johnson most likely. I don't think Ivory and Forsett both have. Apparently Forsett's a starter, but he got kicked from his team and then re-signed. So
yeah, the trial separation.
I wonder if he knew that was what was going to happen. They were just like, look, we just need to do this for this reason.
Well, it depends on what the reason is.
But why him though? There had to be somebody else.
Well, you don't want to drop a young guy because somebody pick up a young guy. You know,
maybe that's the strategy. I don't know. All right, like 1 or 2 more, and then I got a bolt.
All right, well, you have the.
We got one from the chat room actually.
All right, go ahead.
Joe says, "Good evening, fellas. I'm in a 10-team PPR. We must nominate a bench player who we think will have the highest score. I need to decide between Torrey Smith, Will Fuller, or Stefan Diggs. Ugh, not Diggs. I would go with Torrey Smith there.
He's the safe play.
Yeah.
I mean, you said Coleman, right?
No, Torrey Smith, Will Fuller, or Stefan Diggs.
Fuller.
Yeah, I would go with Torrey Smith.
I would go Torrey Smith there.
Yeah.
I mean, Fuller is one of those guys who, I think is a stretch to play it all this year.
All right.
I'd be surprised if he broke out as a fantasy player.
I know that Smith's going to be on the field.
Yeah.
Diggs has got a really crappy quarterback situation going on.
Well, yeah.
And it's going to change next week, so you know what I mean?
Or it's not, but it's going to be really, really lousy week 1.
Yeah, so I would stick with Torrey Smith.
Yeah.
I don't imagine the Vikings would have given up what they gave up if Sean Hill was an adequate starter. Right?
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. So
right.
There you go, buddy.
Okay, so it's time to
kick it, man.
To kick this thing.
Don't forget, I'll be doing a Thursday question and answer show each and every week during the season. So.
Right, so it won't be this Thursday, but it'll be next Thursday.
Next Thursday and going forward. And Kevin will be doing the waiver wire show.
I'll be doing the waiver wire show. I may do it on Monday night after Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And
these shows probably won't be live.
They're not going to be live.
Yeah, but they will be available for download in all other ways. And if you can, when you ask me a question on Twitter, if you want it for that show, use like a hashtag of like, I don't know, Ask Lyle or something. So add us and then
Ask Lyle.
I don't know. I'm trying to collect them all.
Yeah, I get it.
So I don't have to look through ones we already answered and stuff.
Right, because people tweet during the day, and
and
one of us or
if
both
I see
of
it,
us
I answer it. Yeah.
I love it when I answer it, then you answer it. We answer it differently. It's
Do we do that sometimes?
Just like the show.
Yeah, it is just like the show. We should start putting our name after it.
I do. I usually put a KM after
sometimes I do, but I forget sometimes too.
Yeah, if it's an opinion that I'm not sure you'll agree with, I'll drop a KM afterward.
Yeah.
Like if you're wrong.
Better than dropping a BM.
Yeah, I looked at, for some reason, I look at iTunes reviews.
Yeah? We get beat up again?
Well, he gave us, she gave us 2 or 3 stars, I think, but it was like, these guys are fun to listen to, but sometimes their opinions are wrong. And they're completely opposite of what other top shows are, like the fantasy footballers.
Yeah, good.
It's like, wait a minute. So you want to listen to a bunch of people who all agree with each other, right? See, what we're trying to do is trying to get you to think outside of that standard thinking box. That's what we try to do. Standard thinking says,
listen,
start this guy. We want you to start that guy, but think about another guy.
An opinion can't be wrong. It can eventually be wrong, like if something turned out differently, but it was still my opinion at the time. So I'm not stating facts here, man. Use your head. You don't have to listen to me.
It's true.
And by the way, don't. Right?
Listen to me. Don't listen to him.
I'm an effing idiot. Right? I just love football and I like talking about it.
I got to get that on a sound.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's the truth.
Mojo, get that on a board for me, would you? Lyle admitting that he's an idiot.
Listen, if I was a genius when it came to predicting football, I'd be in Vegas making money.
You would be.
What I have are my opinions, and what I do try to do is make an educated guess based on factors, and I usually list those factors for you guys. That is my thought process and how I arrived at that decision. That's all I can do.
And by the way, we're all in big trouble because for Lyle's 40th birthday, I bought him the Football Outsiders 2016 Almanac. And I don't know if you are familiar with those
cover.
guys, but they are deep stat dudes. So Lyle's going to be dropping stat knowledge next week. He's going to be like, I don't know if you know this or not, but
when
since 2004,
if the grass is more than 2 inches and it snows, yeah. I don't know. Kickers have, a 90% chance of missing a field goal in the fourth quarter.
From outside the 20. Yeah, so that's what we're going to have to listen to. All right, we're
I
out.
love that stuff,
Enjoy
man.
your whatever it is you're going to do, football, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, we're out. See ya.